Okay, this is an update on the PicoPCMCIA card. Obviously, I'm pretty far behind the original schedule, but things are actually going okay. So there's two issues preventing me from manufacturing and shipping them right now. So the first is the mechanical issue I'd mentioned recently, which just to recap, um, basically because the whole switching to use the pre-certified wireless module and the HRS connector, um, because of the height, it messed up my original plan for the end of the card. So now um, I'm just waiting on a piece that fits in here um, around all the components, so that when the card gets assembled, there's a flush edge on it. And you can't lose your SD card inside of it. So I'm waiting on that. I had expected to already have it, but it was delayed, so it'll probably come this week. And then the other issue, which is going to add a little more delay, probably at least a week and a half before I confirm. I committed to change these bus switches that I've been using for the interface, because on a couple older systems, including the HP200LX, I saw bit errors in certain I/O cycles, and I didn't see them when things were slow. But as I started to get into more complex functions and really stress the card out, I was seeing those bit errors. So I've switched up the interface. I'm just waiting for the boards to come so I can confirm that it's solved. I modified a lot of boards by hand. Not a lot of boards. I modified one board by hand and confirmed that it was good, or at least a couple signals were good. So I'm not expecting a problem with that. I just need to be certain that's good. It's unfortunate I already bought all the chips I needed of this bus switch that I'm not going to use now. So I'll have to think of a project, think of some kind of project to use those for, because some of them I don't think I can return. Um, so that's the status now. In the meantime, I have been working on the software, so I'll show off some of the stuff I've been working on. This is going to be very just kind of all over the place. So I'll use my PC 110 like I always do. So if I just get an audio cable hooked up here and get it started. Let's plug that in. So the main functions I've worked on. So one I call it native CD-ROM, and basically what that is, if I go into, I'll show you in big.sys. So before, with the SoundBlaster CD interface, the Panasonic MK interface, which still exists, still on here, when you enable that, all it does is it sets up the I/O port 250, and then you would have to then load the creative driver, and that works, and it's nice and authentic, but it is a little slow. So I created the native CD-ROM interface, which is basically it just presents the CD interface directly, and then you can specify how many drives you want. So it emulates like a CD changer. So if I go into, so the reason I did that also is, so if I go PicoCard, and let's say you wanted a SoundBlaster, you wanted a joystick, you wanted an MPU, you wanted the OPL, and you wanted a mouse on COM2. The problem is, when you do that, you can see that it enables, you need an I/O range for every single one of those devices, and you also need an interrupt for some of them. And the issue with PCMCIA is you only get 2 I/O windows on most systems, so I have to try to fit all those devices into two ranges. So you can see here it went from 201 to 22F and 2F8 to 389. And the problem is that ends up scooping up a bunch of addresses that we don't want, that we're not emulating anything on. And if they're not in use for anything else on the system, that's fine. But if they're in use for other devices, the card will end up interfering because we assert the IO wait signal immediately because it takes us some time to decode the address. So it's on some systems it becomes unstable if you allocate big IO windows. And then on some of the card services often won't even let you allocate certain excluded addresses, so you would not be able to get a whole bunch of devices fitting in two windows. So the nice thing with this is that when you've done just native CD, the native CD doesn't use any IO range. It just uses the shared memory. And then here's another thing. So PicoCard/terminal takes you straight into the configuration terminal. Before you had to configure a COM port for this, and then use it like telex or some terminal program to get in here. And again, that ate up an IO range if this is all you wanted it for. So now you can use /terminal and you can get in, and this is just also through the shared memory. And then now here's the CD-ROM. So here's where we can set up the CDs. So let's say I put, we'll say disk 0 is MegaRace and disk 1 is Warcraft. So if we look at E drive is MegaRace and F drive is Warcraft. So that's fine. And then also if we go to bench and we go to SpeedSys, I believe we get, it depends on what kind of functions I've set up, but we get around like 6x CD-ROM when it's not doing anything. So right now we're just running a speed test, so we're not doing any SoundBlaster playback or anything. So this is like best case scenario. We get actually like 7x. So this is significantly faster than what we can do with the creative interface. So then that allows us like smooth playback. So for example, this game MegaRace game, I remember this game. This is one of the very first games I ever played on CD-ROM. It came in like a little collection with one of our computers. But this is an example where it's like continuously reading from the CD and doing SoundBlaster playback. So
Welcome to Noosa, possibly the world's most...
So I'll exit out. So that's just an example of that, we're able to, how do I get out of this? I just reset it. That we can do the native CD-ROM gives us the high speed, and then it's nice, has a little CD changer, and then also just a couple more things on the native CD-ROM. So I have the same. I have to clean them up a bit, but I have the same kind of commands as PicoGus. So the idea being that you could, it'll be compatible with launchers. So you can just, so if I go PicoCard/CD load, let's put Warcraft into drive 0. That's the only thing is I added this extra parameter for what drive you're going to put it in, but that's only needed if you're trying to put it in one of the emulated slots. If it's just a single slot, then it's the same. So then also we have play CD now. It'll still play audio CDs. And then we have now PicoCard terminal. So I've got the audio mixer now. So to control the all the audios from here, so we can control the SoundBlaster, the Yamaha OPL, the MIDI, and line in is the is on here. If this has the switch, the switch where you can either do MIDI out from this or you can do line in audio. And then you can also do these from here. So you could control them just straight from command line. So that I believe covers the native CD-ROM interface. So that's a big feature, I think. The next is a pretty good one. So if I just go in here, I go none. Let's see what I got to configure. So now if we go PicoCard / SD card, what this does is it gives us exposes the SD card. So I have a 128 gig SD card in here right now. It exposes it into DOS as a through the redirector, so you can just access the whole card in DOS. So so this is all the stuff on the SD card. The speed is not bad. It's similar to what I can get on the CD-ROM. It's a little bit slower on the writes, but this is more than fast enough for anything that I'm doing on here with games. So that's the SD card. But then we also have I just unplugged this. This is the audio one. We'll come back to that. Actually, I'll plug it in. I'll use this. I'm going to use this from, or actually this one has less stuff hanging off of it. So if I plug the audio in here, and then we've got, I've got a USB on the go cable. So USB-C to USB. So if I plug that in and just plug this in. Now again, this is a bit wonky. So I want to make still need to 3D print like a little card blank that's like goes in and sticks out a bit and then supports this. So I usually just stick a random card in just to support it. And just a quick reminder that I didn't make it, but you can get like these just like how I made this audio cable, right? I made an audio cable. You can also just buy these USB cables, and then the connectors are stocked at DigiKey, so you can make cables. So I still plan to only ship with this, which has every function, but what extra cables I will have extra, I'll have to figure out still. But so this is set up here now. So if we go PicoCard / USB mass storage, it adds another F drive there. So now if I go dir F drive, there's nothing there. So if I plug the this USB stick in, this is a 32 gig one. You can see now there, that's this is my this is that USB key. I don't know if I have anything useful on here. But yeah, so that's this USB key. It's a lot slower write. I don't know. I didn't look into it too much yet because it varies a lot by the USB keys too, and the USB library. I'm not so familiar with it. There's been changes made to improve the speed, so I've basically just ported what was in PicoGus over. and so that's why the USB read speed is great. So we get 1 megabyte. So that's the USB keys. But you can also, so now if I see it should be empty again. If I have here, I have what this is. This is just a hub, but it's a powered hub. So it's just a USB hub, but it accepts external power. So I've got external power connected to it there. And if I plug it in, so oh, first of all, let's just make sure this works through the hub still. Yep. And there should be blank now. Yeah. So now, because I got the powered hub, you can also use a hard. So this is a 1 terabyte hard drive. Now, I can't power this. PC110 can't power this directly. The voltage goes too low and it drops out. But through a powered USB hub, if I plug that in, this should be there. There. So this is a 1 terabyte SSD. So I've got like ExoDOS on here. It's like there's like a terabyte of stuff. So we've got that. So that's the mass storage. So you can now, it's just through the DOS redirector, you can get access to it'll do them, but it does them both at the same time. So you've got access to the SD card and you got access to the USB. I was thinking about expanding it to allow multiple USBs. I don't really, is this necessary? I don't know. So that's the mass storage. So I'll just unplug that just so I don't end up, actually I'm done with this, so I just so I don't cause any problems for it. I'll hook the audio back up here. So here's my audio cable. Actually, I'm not sure I'm even gonna need to demonstrate the audio. So that's the mass storage. Then the next thing that I created, if I just reboot the machine here, and again, this is all that storage stuff did not use I/O. It's all through the shared memory. So another thing I've added is, so what we used to do is PicoCard/mouse COM2, and that would give us where we could then do mouse/C2. And then we can do mouse test. So that's this mouse here. So this is the Bluetooth mouse. And update rate is like 40 or whatever. So that's the Bluetooth mouse. And again, that's PCard/terminal. If we go to mouse, so I'm using the Bluetooth mouse here. You can do USB mice. I didn't put it. This is a laptop, so I've mostly focused on Bluetooth stuff, but it supports the same USB mice and gamepads as other projects. So that's the serial mouse. The problem there being, not problem, but you needed an I/O window to do that. So if I just reboot, just easier to reboot here. So what I added for that is a native mouse driver. So if we just go PicoCard/mouse, so we don't need to configure an I/O or an interrupt now, and it will present the mouse directly. So it's also even it's a little bit more responsive than a serial mouse, and we also get the center click. So that's the mouse, the native mouse, and it works pretty good. Like, so if I go let's just PicoCard /mouse and then /SB 22010 if we go into games FD2 so again, yeah, this is through the this is going through it, and if we go we load something, yeah, so it's still, we can use the mouse without having any impact on the playback to the DMA emulation. Can you go into DOS on this? No. And yeah, so this is playing back at full sample rate, which is actually I can't do with the ESS card in the PC110. It actually it struggles. So that's the mouse and the native mouse driver. And again, you can use this stuff at the same time. Actually, let's see if I can do this. So if I go, so let's just make sure we're connected here. So Wi-Fi is up. Yeah, so we're connected on the Wi-Fi. So if I do PicoCard /PD, that should okay. This is I gotta update the interface a bit. There's a couple things like the PacketDriver or native CD-ROM, couple of where I need to know up front, like when you first enable the card, I need to know if you're going to enable that feature because I keep different stuff resident. So like if you're just using audio, I don't keep like the PacketDriver resident, or I don't keep the mouse driver. I only like keep what is needed. So if we do PicoCard /mouse /PD, that's going to enable the native mouse, and it enables a native PacketDriver. So if you're looking to do networking and you're just going to use MTCP, there's really no point in enabling NE2000 just for that. Now I still support NE2000 because I don't use MTCP all the time. I mostly actually use the Novell stack, and it's looking for an actual NE2000 card. But here's this is through the native PacketDriver. So again, does this? We now have the mouse and the we have the mouse and the PacketDriver, and it's not using any I/O addresses. This is all through the shared memory. Just let that. So if we go frogfind.com, and yeah, meow. So that's the native PacketDriver. I showed the native mouse, and then yeah, I think everything else I've already mostly shown off. If I go PicoCard /OPL /joystick, then there's like I still have the Bluetooth gamepads. Yeah, we don't need music. So this so the mouse is working there. So this, if I turn on this little joystick here, the little gamepad, should connect there. And this is hard. There's a little bit of lag here because of the my capture device, but otherwise I often use Tetris here because I would notice like right away if there was any kind of like joystick glitch or lag, I would notice. So I often just play this for a while to make sure things are okay. This is hard because I'm looking at it through you know, if I was playing on the actual PC110 here, yeah, there's zero lag. But through my capture device, it's pretty rough. So I think that is it for the new features I've added. Everything else is still good. SoundBlaster emulation, like if we go PicoCard /MPU. Oops, PicoCard /MPU. So the things that use I/O windows can be reconfigured on the fly. So if we go DOS/MID /MPU CANYON.MID. So that's through the Dream MIDI chip on the board. If we do what are we PicoCard / SB / OPL, or sorry, PicoCard / SoundBlaster, OPL, and joystick. I don't remember what I have configured for it here. I just use the keyboard. Yeah, so that's it. So I continue to work on the software, adding features, improving the oh yeah, so there's also in the terminal here, I also have modem mode, and that's where you can also just if we go dark realms, let's see, I think it's a BBS, so you can it's like a little ANSI terminal. Again, this is, you could just configure a COM port and do this through the COM port, but I just put this little interface in, and then in terms of that exit terminal, oh, I'm gonna remind myself, how do I disconnect? It's not come on. Yeah. So basically that's there's the gamepads. So that's was like the gamepad that I joined, and it can support you can configure 4 gamepads, but it's right now I only let you do 2, like actually send 2 to the PC, but you could join multiple ones. This is for presenting the card to the PC. So here, audio settings, aside from the mixer, I still have the where you can configure the speaker profile, so you can do the smaller the where it like restricts the frequency range. So for example, if we do small speaker, it'll sound, now it'll be like restricted for a small speaker. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like cut all the bass and certain frequencies out. And I can't, it's too hard on this the recording here, but that's, you use that if you want to play the audio out of the built-in computer. And then CardType, this is the I need to add some. This is the what the card behaves like on boot. So because I have this set as an EN 2216, the Actin 2216, you can put this card into any device and it will identify and configure itself as an Actin card. Or I have this, you can make it where it will just present itself as a game card, and then the computer uses whatever drivers or whatever. So I have another one I've been working on, the Farallon card for Macs, and there's a couple other for setting. And that's basically, that's for when you're not going to use this PicoCard program. This PicoCard program is for DOS, and just to show the options. And I do need to add, like, clean up the look of this and stuff, because it's, I've like debug things everywhere. But this is all the stuff that you can configure and how you configure it. I need to update more documentation about what these like hard specifying windows, or I also have this should work. I just have some little system things that are try to which I've slowly built and I need to clean up how they look, but just trying to find any kind of errors, signal errors, because I did spend a lot of time troubleshooting things when I had like a bad a bad socket on one of my old computers or something, or it was detecting it. It was doing 8-bit cycles instead of 16-bit cycles. So yeah, that's about it. I could go on forever. I will have put chapter markers so you could skip around. But yeah, that's the current state of the card, and I'll have an update this week, hopefully um, with some more little refinements to the software, and hopefully the mechanical piece is done. So um, yeah, yeah, that's it for now. Thanks.